Alright, so this is a real quick overview. What is up with Focus A and what is up with Focus B? Why you shouldn't roll for this. Quite simply, Key of Castigation and Benares is outdated. Nobody's at the high end. Nobody's using this anymore, right? You can get away with it if you already have a copy of this, but I don't think any new players should go out of their way unless they're playing for collection, which is very cost inefficient. So only roll if you're swiping big. Pistols, Tranquil Arius. That's super old meta placeholder gear. Don't really need it nowadays. You can use it on Flame Scion if you don't have anything better, but that's not something that you go out of your way to get, you know. Eye of Collapse, actually good. Cross. 11th Sacred Relic would be nice to have, but not absolutely mandatory by any means. And Zither's in the next banner over, but not really that useful. Sanguine Gaze could be nice if you already have Nyx, but you don't go... Again, all the weapons here you don't go out of your way to get. Right? If you really want Eye of Collapse, you would get it on its own uprate banner. Or hopefully you have it from playing Colosten. But I understand for players that started after 5.5, you might not have Eye of Collapse. Okay. Stigmata. Again, Benares you don't go out of your way for, but that is the uprate. Shui Jing, nice to have. Shui Jing, okay. Shui Jing is nice to have, but not mandatory by any means these days. Still quite useful, still quite handy. Irene Adler is farmable, even though it's a long time horizon. Dickens, nice as a placeholder if you get it from an off rate, but again, you don't roll on these banners for off rates. And then Holmes, probably the best Stigmata out of this whole list. Just because of Griseo making Holmes good. Holmes and Irene. Irene is like second best on this list, I would say. Overall, do not recommend this banner. Unless you just have deep pockets and you're literally started within the last two patches and you just want to catch up fast. That's like the edge case of who should roll on this banner. It's like if you just have deep pockets. You're trying to build inventory. All right. Focus Supply B. Similar situation, right? Zither at least gets more utility than Key of Castigation. It's got a passive for equip and then a passive on use. Shui Jing still finds quite... it's still got uses. It's not entirely useless, but again, it's kind of outdated and you just don't go out of your way to get it, but it's still good. I just don't think you should try to get it on this banner. Okay, Void Blade, that's craftable. Heavy Cannon, Key of Reason, it's got nice for utility and its collection value, but HOR is getting a new Divine Key next patch, so you don't really need Key of Reason. Skull and Hottie's old meta. Scotty, only if you're only useful for Argent Knight. It's got total damage, but again, it's not the uprate, so you don't go out of your way to go for it. Whispers is probably the most relevant off-rate here. But again, you should probably try to find another place to get this from, because the rest of this stuff is you really don't need. Eos Gloria, not even worth mentioning. Okay, the Stigmata on this banner are actually not terrible if you have the battle suits that they go to. Shui Jing itself is still useful, but not tip-top meta. Raksha T, right? Shattered Swords. Still quite good for HOS. If you have HOS, HOS should be high priority for any account. Wings of Reason. So this is the Silver Wing set. It's good if you have Silver Wing. It's not really that important if you don't have Silver Wing, but if you end up with any of these, you can use it as a placeholder on any of your Ice DPS in a lot of cases. Sistema Naturae, that's the Linnaeus, right? That's for Mobius. 2 set is not bad as a generic combo supports, combo DPS lightning set, but it's like, why would you go out of your way to roll for that? All the off rates, Shattered Swords and Avogadro would probably be the top 2, and then, you know, Silverwing and Linnaeus are kind of like C level on this banner. But again, this one is slightly better than the Benares focus banner, but again, I don't recommend that you go out of your way to pull on this one. Unless you just started within the last 2 to 3 patches and you just have deep pockets. You're just trying to build inventory. That would probably be the only edge case in which case that you would pull on this. All right, that's pretty much the banner review here. Hersher of Thunder. Oh yeah, Hersher of Thunder. Hersher of Thunder, only if you have deep pockets. I don't think you should try to go out of your way to pull on at this specific point in time. Because if you do pull right now, you're setting yourself behind for 6.1. Again, the edge cases, if you have deep pockets, you started literally this patch, maybe you could justify it. Maybe you're like, well, I really like Ellie Mae, and I want them to smooch. Then, if your wallet is big enough, you know, if your credit card balance allows, you may do so. But overall, these banners are kind of bait. Don't roll on them. If you're free to play and low budget. If you're mid budget, probably you already don't need to roll on them either. Just wait for next patch. That concludes this banner review.